Well, hello everyone. Welcome to part 3 of the trans week thing that I did. Talking about very controversial topics apparently, since a lot of people are giving a very mixed response, I suppose, especially to my previous video about the transgender agenda. And it's like, well, it's like as soon as it's like you can't even have an opinion. I have an opinion on something. It doesn't mean I'm discriminatory against people in the LGBT community, because I'm not. So I don't know where that comes from. Just because I have an opinion doesn't mean that I'm discriminatory. And I'm sure that this topic right here that I'm about to discuss is going to further prove that I'm being discriminatory against transgender people, because it's, again, an opinion that I have. So be it whatever, I'm just going to express how I feel, what I know to be true, and just who cares if there's a negative response or reaction, because this is what I believe in, and everyone should be allowed to voice their own opinion, and that's what I'm doing here. So if you don't agree, you can say that. If you do agree, you can say that. But know that I don't say anything here to criticize or be mean or hurtful to someone, because I know what it's like going through all these hard times. I really do. So I'm not going to project the same type of negativity onto someone else. But there needs to be a realization and some realism here. You can't just run and hide, which is kind of what this topic is going to be about. Because it kind of started when early back when I started making videos, I referred to myself as a male, in that I was born a male. I said I was born a male. I was born a boy, which is true. I wasn't a little baby girl. I was a baby boy, which is why I needed to transition, because I didn't feel comfortable as a boy. I felt as though I was meant to live as a girl, which is what I'm doing now, which is why I've managed to find this happiness now in my life, because I'm living as who I was meant to live as. Maybe not according to God or nature or whatever types of crap people say, because people say, God made you this way, you have to live this way. I've heard many of those comments on my videos, and they're just, who cares? We're not going to get into that debate. But the thing is, when I would say that I was born a male, there begin people saying, you were not born a male. Say you were assigned male at birth because you're actually a female. And it's like, okay, I mean, I understand that, I suppose, but why can't I say that I was born a male? Because I was. And why am I supposed to censor what I call myself? Because it's going to discriminate against someone else? Is it going to hurt someone else's feelings? And again, it's this whole political correctness thing, because now you can't even say that transgender people are, biologically the sex that they were born as. Can I say without offending someone that someone who transitioned from male to female is biologically male no matter what? Is that discriminatory? I'm sure it is to some people, but it's true. See, because me, no matter what I do, I can never change the fact that I was born a male, that I am a male on a biological level. Period. I cannot change that at all. My chromosomes are male. I mean, of course, they've never been checked. Maybe there's some kind of fluctuation there, but doesn't matter. I was born a male. I grew up as a male. I had male parts. I developed male characteristics during puberty. Male. Male, okay? That was all male stuff. And I am biologically male, even now. It doesn't matter how many surgeries I take. It doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter any kind of hormones, surgeries, or whatever. I will always be male on a biological level. Period. There's nothing that can change about that. And when you say, like, I've seen just, I I don't know if it was like one or two videos, but there was this one video that I saw, and it said, that trans people are not biologically their birth sex, and it's like, that makes zero sense, because if I was biologically female, I wouldn't be transgender then. I would identify as what I felt as though I was. You're transsexual is the technical term when your gender identity doesn't match the sex you were born as. So I was born a male, identify as female. I made that transition to female on the outside here, and through hormones and through surgery. But that doesn't change the fact that I am still male biologically, period. So it's a preposterous idea to even consider that I wasn't biologically male, because it makes no sense. It would invalidate my entire transition, because that's the whole point of being transsexual, because you're the opposite sex at birth that you identify as. So again, this concept promotes denial. It really does, because if you can't even accept the fact that you're male, no matter what you do to be female, then you're really denying, how you were when you were born. You don't have to identify as that biological gender, sex, whatever. But that doesn't change the fact that that's how you were born. So, I've personally never had a problem with this. I've always said I was born a male, because I was. And that's how I lived my life. That was my struggle to transition to a female. So again, biologically male, no matter what. Because you cannot, even if you could change your chromosomes, if you could change anything else, still developed as a male. Like the body was male, and then you change that and you develop female characteristics, and stuff like that. But again, that is just, it doesn't change your biology. It doesn't. So I don't promote that kind of denial. You have to accept the harsh reality of things. If you cannot accept that, then there could be another more deep underlying reason why you are feeling this way. Because, again, it goes back to the denial. Because we all have this male and female aspect of ourselves. And when we embrace that, when we accept that, then we really discover who we are in our entirety. And it was through my transition that I did discover my femininity, and then I grew into this female person that I am. And then, early on, I hated that male side of me. I didn't want anything to do with it, this and that, and I hate it. And then I learned to accept it. And now it's like any kind of so-called male activities, male things about me, like if I have like broad shoulders, or any kind of thing that people may look at me and go, that's a bit more masculine than it is feminine. It doesn't bother me anymore, because that's just how I am, and I've accepted who I am. And for some people, it is very tough when you can't really get to that point, when you're just constantly scrutinizing every single part of your body, and you're kind of going through it and looking at all the male parts. And that I certainly do remember that early on in my transition. But once I kind of grew to love myself, then those extra things dissipated. And now I am happy as who I really am, which is a female. Would I have been happy as a male if I sorted this all out? I don't know. I have no idea about that. Could I be happy if I go back to living as a male now? No, probably not. But I still can accept and embrace that male aspect of myself without denying it, without denying that I am biologically male, without denying that I was born a male and grew up as a male, lived the first 21 years of my life, 21, 22 years of my life as a male. Accepting the harsh reality that, you know, even the surgeries don't make me a female. It's how I feel I am. It's what makes me a female. Because I can get, you know, the surgery to make your penis into a vagina. You know, I've heard these arguments, people saying, you don't really have a vagina, you have a mutilated penis, this and that. And it's like, okay, that you can feel that way if you want to. But here's the thing. It doesn't look like a penis. It doesn't look mutilated. It looks like a vagina. And it would function the same in regard to sex, to a limited degree. Of course, I can't get pregnant. I can't have a baby. I can't have this and that a woman who was born with a vagina has. But that's not the defining factor. You can have a penis. Like right now, if I didn't have that surgery and I still had a penis, would anyone look at me still as a male? You know, like, I mean, there are always going to be people who would view me as a male no matter what. I understand that. But I would still look the same regardless of what's in between my legs. So it's not the defining factor. But again, your outward appearance really tells a lot about how you choose to identify. Most people, when they see me, they're going to see female. They're not going to see male. Regardless of what my chromosomes say, regardless of how I, you know, the kind of hormones that I take, what's in between my legs, they're not going to know that. Because that's not what you see from the outside. So, that was pretty much what I wanted to say for this video. If you agree or disagree or whatever, you know, just, if you want to leave a comment and let me know, whatever. Again, I'm not trying to be discriminatory. I'm really not, and it's saddening to kind of reread those comments and make myself like feel guilty, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm upsetting a lot of people, and it's like, no, this is my opinion, and I'm going to voice my opinion because I have an opinion. The opinion may not be the popular one. The opinion may be one that, you know, people don't, I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but the opinion that I have is valid, just as your opinion is valid. You know, and sometimes, you know, the harsh reality of things can be tough to kind of face. And for some people, you know, they deny, some people embrace. You know, I am someone who embraces, because after so long of denying all these things that happened to me in the past that are like trauma related, I've learned to accept them. So I've learned to accept myself. I've learned to accept who I am. I've learned to accept why I'm here. I've learned to accept all these things about me, and that's what's so important. So anyone out there who is having a hard time as well, just know that it doesn't take, you know, all of this stuff to be happy. It really doesn't. The happiness comes from within, and you can find your own happiness no matter what. You just have to figure out what would really make you happy in life. So that is my advice to you. Okay? So this is the final video of the Trans Week thing, unless there's a bonus episode tomorrow. Hint, hint, yes. And then the Automasodel video on Friday, which kind of talks about a little bit of what we talked about here in this video about transgender people being biologically the sex that they were born as, in addition to like about mental illness, like is being transgender mental illness. I kind of discussed that as well, which I do not believe that it is, but I believe for some people that it is. And I kind of I don't really go into too much detail on that because I have talked about that in the past, and people are like, it's a bunch of, haters again, just kind of come over, yeah, it's a mental illness, it's right there in the name. It's like, who cares if it's a mental illness or not? If I'm mentally ill and my brain is not female and I just, took all these hormones and I mutilated my body as these people would say, then you know what, so be it, because I'm happy as I am, like this, okay? There's no mutilation. I'm happy. I am content with how I am, and I am very proud of the person that I am, and I'm proud of anyone who can come out and do the same, despite any kind of haters out there, because there are haters out there. I'm not going to sit here and say don't listen to them, but just kind of take what they're saying as, just their own opinion. They can have their own opinion, and don't entirely dismiss it and say, you're wrong, this and that. Just let them have their own opinion and just be on your own way. That is a very mature way of going about it. So let them have their opinion. You can have your opinion, and you can have your life, your happy life that you're living. Okay, so I'm going to end it now. I want you all to have a wonderful day and night, and I will see you all possibly tomorrow for bonus content. And then we're going to move off this whole transgender thing, because I'm sick of talking about it now, okay? Okay, bye-bye.